All right. It looks like we are live and right on target. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm back for part four on that series, What's Holding You Back from Success? Let me see. It's Good Friday. So that means that Easter's just around the corner. I've got my water. So that means we're good to go. Okay. Now, actually, I'm guessing that Good Friday is a good day to be talking about belief. Now, here's the thing. If you were in front of me right now and could see the wall that's behind this camera, I have um, how would you say, three kind of, I guess we call them sentences. One is believe in you, the other one is stay focused, and the third one is stay disciplined. But if you notice, the first one I put there is believe in you. So I believe that all the success that I've been able to have in my business lifetime has come from the fact that I believe that I could, right? So, my question to you is your lack of belief holding you back from having your own success? Because we've seen the numbers, at least as far as businesses are concerned, too many people, in my opinion, are failing. And the reason they're failing is because they haven't figured out that success starts right up here, right up there. Okay. Here and down inside of here, of course. Okay. But if you can't get that belief into your mind, down into your spirit, then success will never come your way. And trust me, this is a daily thing that we work on. This is not something that just happens overnight. My apologies. I want to check the level of my sound because I have a habit of when I'm listening to meditation music in the morning, I kind of turn it down low. When I'm doing work, it's very low in the background. And I don't want you to miss nothing I have to say. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm not on here all day, and I pray that you get something out of what we're about to go over right now. So let's start out with the definition of belief. Okay, a state or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person. Now, listen to that. A state or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. Her belief in God, a belief in democracy. These are examples. I bought the table in the belief that it was an antique. Those are just examples of the first part. Okay, they kind of ran into each other, right? A state or habit of mind where trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing, right? Now, number two, it says belief is an individual's conviction or truth of an assertion. When an individual thinks of contention or assertion is worthy of credence, an individual's faith that something is true. So belief is an individual's faith that something is true. Okay. Now, the stronger the belief, which increases your faith, ends up turning that belief into a reality. Makes sense, right? Okay. So it's easy to blame situations or other people when we don't reach our targets. Have you ever wondered, though, if it could be you holding yourself back from achieving success, or if you possibly limit yourself because of what you believe? I was always taught that if you believe you can, you will. Yeah, that's a true one. I've been, when I first came into the direct marketing industry, in actuality, that was actually in 1970. I was just think about that. Okay. If I go way back, I could talk about my first adventures in Kirby, my first adventures in Amway. Okay. I remember going to somebody's house with these two big boxes, Kirby, right? And knocking on the door, asking somebody I can throw some dirt on their floor. I won't go there. Okay. But my point is that for you to have success in anything, If your belief is not intact, then you're out of sync. Okay. We hold beliefs about all things and they have a direct influence over what we achieve or not. When we have empowering beliefs, our beliefs can feel almost effortless. That means you can feel like you're Superman, that you can take down anything as long as you believe that you can. Um, well, I just thought of Hussein Bolt for some reason. Look how long he held that title as the fastest man. Well, let's take Muhammad Ali. This, if you want to see or talk about belief, you've got to mention the name Muhammad Ali. Okay, I met him when he first started out with the name, of course, Cassius Clay, and almost had the name of the big bear that he knocked out. But I've never seen a guy whose belief was so strong that he would tell you about it, right? He would actually tell an opponent, I'm going to knock you out in the fourth, or I'm going to knock you out in the fifth. The majority of the time, he did. But that's a whole nother program. We won't go there. Excuse me. If we have self-limiting beliefs, however, then it can often feel like we are posting a big rock, or I'm sorry, pushing a big rock up a hill. In other words, if our belief or we have limiting beliefs, it can actually put up roadblocks in our life. You know, get to the next one before I give it away. Limiting beliefs have a way of creeping up on us. They reveal themselves in different ways. Even if we think our beliefs are or support us, a limiting belief can often rear its ugly head just when we least expect it and completely stop us in our tracks from making things feel harder than they actually are. You know, let me see if I can give a quick example of that. Just take a school test. A school test. If you place in your mind that the knowledge of your studies, you don't think they were sufficient enough for you to be able to answer the questions on that test, that's the negative. That's what they're talking about, limiting beliefs. Then you're going to fail that test. I'm telling you right now, you will fail that test. Okay. It's sad, but it's true. I can remember taking my first securities test, and everybody said, well, man, don't worry about it. This is what they told you up front. Don't worry about if you don't pass the first time. Most people have to go 2 or 3 times. Thank the Lord, I only went the first time. Now, if anybody has ever taken a securities test, they will tell you there's no playing around. You either know the information or you don't. And I believe I got a 70 or 71. I didn't care. They said I passed. That was all I wanted to hear. And that was it. A belief is simply a feeling of certainty about what something means. The reason it can feel so certain is because it's a story we have been telling ourselves throughout our lives, unconsciously looking for proof it is truth. Okay. We find plenty of proof because that's what we are looking for. And the more proof we find, the more certain we feel. This means we can either create more potential or more limitations depending on what belief actually is. Now, you see, I've got the good book there and the cross and whatnot. I just want to use it as an example to give a good example of what they're trying to say with those words. A lot of people believe in God, but then they want to see some proof that he exists. Now, I happen to go to a church where we believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Now, I was taught that from a child, but I really didn't, how do I say this? Believe until I actually had an experience, or some of you might want to call it an encounter with the Holy Spirit on me. And then I realized, wow, I am the Son of God. I do have the same powers as Jesus Christ, but that's another program, so I'm not going to go there. But I wanted to use it as an example. Okay. There are people that go through their whole life believing and never having any type of experience to back it up. So keep that in mind also. All right. So The reason I chose this picture here is because when you're talking about someone influencing our belief, our mom, our dad, especially our moms, okay, they kind of shape our life, right? And we get a lot of our beliefs through our parents and our grandparents. So, if your beliefs have this powerful influence on your results, can you imagine how much more personal potential you could create and what you could accomplish if every belief you had really did completely sustain, support, and nurture you? You got to think about that, what they're saying right there for a second. That's why I want to read it one more time. It says, if your beliefs have this powerful influence on your results, can you imagine how much more personal potential you could create? You know, I had to think about a guy like Eric Thomas and the background that he came from, and to grow to be the number one speaker, um, I say in the world, you know. He says in the United States, I say in the world. You know, this was a guy that all odds were against him except for his belief. That's what got him to where he is today. You know, a lot of times you hear people receiving trophies. Let's take the Williams sisters as an example. Look what they accomplished. And it started out not with their belief, but with their father's belief in what they could do. But take a guy like Tiger Woods. Good examples. All right, what was that? It says, and can you imagine how much you could be getting in your own way if they don't? So, in other words, if you let the doubting Thomases get up inside your head, you know, and to ruin your, belief factor, then you're not going to have success. You are going to say, I can't, right? And no, I don't know if I can do this. Oh man, I might as well just going back to my 9 to 5 job and be satisfied. This is the problem in the world today. Too many people are being satisfied with right where they're at. You know, I've been blessed, but I've been blessed because of the chain of beliefs that have been instilled in me from the time I was five. Five, you know, you go to church and they give you a little card, and a lady sits there and you read to you. That's when they started implanting it in my head. Okay. And some people are not fortunate enough to have gotten that. And if they're lucky, they'll pick it up along the way. A lot of times through reading books, personal development, through reading books, tapes. This is how you get it. Okay. Here are a few of the most common self-limiting beliefs you need to be aware of and some practical tips to assist you to move through them. Even if you implement one simple tip, it can be a profoundly positive effect in your results. And how are we doing? We're at 13 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. Okay. I'm going to try to keep it under 2025. I'm just going to go over several of them. I'm not going to try to keep you here all day. I don't have time. Now, how many times have you heard that one when you talk to someone about, example, becoming your business partner? Now, even though you show them all the benefits of the program, they know they can get ahead with what you're doing, right? You show them the bottom line. They're struggling. And the first thing that you hear, or second thing that you hear, is, well, that sounds good, but, I just don't have the time. You don't have the time because you're working 3 jobs. That's why you don't have the time. You're putting up the excuses, but in reality, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how do we manage that time? It said this may be a statement. The truth is, though, when you repeatedly say the same thing, you start to believe it, and this means you will never find the time to do what you want. It's that simple. I couldn't say it any better. It's that simple. If you tell yourself you don't have the time, of course you don't. But I could find it. If you to tell me your schedule, I'll find the time for you. So if I can see it from the outside, I know darn well if you want it bad enough, you will find it from the inside. Holding on to this belief can keep you stuck for years. You see it. This is the beauty about this. What I'm telling you, you see all around you every day. Just walk out of your house, walk around your community, walk downtown, go to Walmart. There you go. Go to Walmart, go to Kruger's. I don't know why Kruger's just popped into my head. Grocery store. You know, go to a grocery store, go to a mall, and just walk around and watch people for a while. And you will see the successful ones and you see the ones that are not successful. But I'll tell you this, those ones that are successful, talk to them about their belief factor and they'll put you in check. When you start to see time as it really is, which is a social construct, you empower yourself to create a belief that works for you instead of against you. Time is definitely on your side. You've heard many stories about people getting up, starting their day at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. I know when I was in the States, I used to be in the gym by 5:30. Okay. Now I'll tell you what, that puts you puts you in bed early at night. Trust me, but it can be done. Okay, you go to the gym for the extra energy factor, to stay in shape, for your health, keep your heart ticking right, all that good stuff. Okay, this is a word well, in my father's house, you dare not say this. Those two words, I can't. Not in my father's house. You can say any place else you want, but don't say it in my father's house. And guess what I taught my sons? The same thing. Those words do not exist. I can't. This is one of the most limiting beliefs you can imagine, because it gives no opportunity of you being able to do what you're telling yourself you can't. The more you repeat this statement, the more you begin to believe it. Your unconscious mind is always listening and it responds to what you are telling it. Some people have been described this response as physically feeling blocked. There's no such thing as I can't. And this is because you always have a choice. You can do anything you set your mind to, and even if you don't have the skills yet, listen to that. Even though you don't have the skills yet, then you have the ability to learn those skills. Okay. Um, I started out with first thing, I was a real estate. Am I saying that right? Yeah. I was a real estate salesman back in 1970. Okay. I was in my early 20s. I told you about Amway. I told you about Kirby. I had a family. I was making very little money in the military, so I had to have an extra job. I taught myself how to do those things. I was a disc jockey. When I learned how to be a disc jockey, I sat home, got me a mirror. I had my turntables and all that. I ran through the whole thing in my mind, a 2-3 hour show before I ever went to a club. So don't tell me you can't. I've had a radio show before. For over 4 years, I had a radio show. I taught myself what to do, the intro and the exits, and when to do a commercial, all that kind of good stuff. Remember, I only have high school education. The rest is all life education. So if I can, you can. It comes down to that will, and never saying I can't. It's not I can't. It's how can I? Not I can't. How can I? Keep that in the back of your mind for me, will you? Okay, very important. All right, this one, excuse me, allergy time of year. This one I definitely don't like. I am not good enough. Who says you're not good enough? You're a child of God. Of course you're good enough. You have to know in your heart who you are. Never say I'm not good enough. Remember, it's always how. I'm not good enough. This is probably the most fundamentally limiting belief there is. It's one of the most it's one that most of us can attest to having been at the mercy of at some point in our life. It's not I'm not good enough. It's I haven't learned enough. It could be, if you're talking to your boss, you haven't taught me enough. But in most cases, it's I haven't learned enough. Do you know in this age, 2022, you can find anything on Google to learn, almost anything on YouTube to learn, or there's a video that shows you how. So, what excuse do you really have for not having success in your own business? When I learned, yeah, there was no internet. I had to learn by trial and error. And trial and error costs you money. Okay. Pricing, I had to learn pricing. I had to learn what would sell, what wouldn't sell. Because, I mean, you're buying stock for your store, but you're buying stock to move it out the door. That means you can't think about your taste anymore. It's what will people come into my store and buy? I had to go to what they call messe, you know, it's a place where you go and see different things, different clothes, different styles. I had to keep up on what was in style, not for me, for the public, what was in style. Okay, and let me get off track. We're always good enough, and that's the reason why we are here. We are good enough to each person, situation, opportunity that presents itself. Listen to that. We are good enough for each person, situation, and opportunity that presents itself. Yet at some point in our life, when our safety and certainly was threatened, we choose to believe that it's not true. Okay. I've had people tell me, man, I can't do that business. Yes, you can. Do you want the effects of what that business can do in your life? That's what it comes down to, because we can learn anything that we desire. All right. I love this one. Who cares about what people think? People worry about being judged. I will be judged. We can often hold ourselves back from doing the new things because we're afraid other people will judge us and see us as lacking in some way. Lacking in some way because I don't want to drive the same type of car you drive. I don't want to stay in this neighborhood. I want to move my family to a better neighborhood. I want to make more money. I want to live in a 5,000 foot square house instead of a 1,500 foot square house. And you're going to judge me because I'm trying to do better? Really? Come on. Remember, we often focus on our fear. No, just went over that one, right? And the more we focus on this, we will see more examples of people judging us. Stop caring about what other people say. Think of this. You can't spend their money. So guess what? They're not going to spend your money. The money that you make is yours. Okay? As long as you're happy and your loved ones are happy, meaning your mate or your spouse, your kids, people that you care about. The neighbor next door and up the street. So what? Move to a different neighborhood, right? Okay. We have no control over what others think or feel, and most of the time, they don't think anything about you at all. They are more concerned with what they think, feel about themselves, just like you are. So stop worrying about how people might or might not judge you. Okay. The only one you should worry about judging you is the maker. That's it. Whew. Besides, I can't. I think this is the worst of all. I can never do this. You just eliminated everything. People say, man, I'll never make $1 million. You better find a way to make $1 million. Okay. There's in the USA, there's 400 new millionaires a month. Why not you? 400 new millionaires a month, over 21 million millionaires, something like that, 21, 22 probably by now. It's I can never do this. This is personally capability belief teamed up with gross generalizations. Generalizations are words like always, everything, never. And when we use them, we delete any possible exceptions of the opposite being true. So when you say, I can never, you feed that into your mind. And then it gets down into your spirit. And it does the opposite of I can. I can lift you up. Okay? I can't pushes you down. And that 5,000 foot square home you're going to buy for your wife, that Bentley you're going to park in front of the house, that trip you was going to, fly your wife on the weekend to Paris and have lunch, it'll never happen. It's a joke, okay? But you said it. It came out of your mouth, not mine. All right. If you tell yourself you can never do something, you will avoid it at all costs in the future. Okay, it's like you sticking your hand into a fire and you get burnt one time, you're not going to do it again. So never use those words, I can't or I can never. Woo! Where was that? You will avoid it at all costs in the future because it doesn't feel good when you receive lots of reminders of your inability to do something. You hear what it's saying? You receive your reminders. Nobody else is telling you that you can never do anything. You're judging your own self. You're bringing your own self down. Man, that's crazy. There's no way to live life. You were put here to live life to the fullest. That's what I'm saying. Fullest. Do you know what a beautiful world we really have out there? Have you been? Well, what could I throw out? A Grand Canyon as an example. Niagara Falls, Miami. Have you even been to Miami? Disney World? Where have you been? Have you been to Paris, London, Rome? They're Swiss Alps. Whew. Wow, they're beautiful, man. Beaches. The finest beach I've ever seen is in Portugal, a place called Algarve. Never say you can never do anything. It was a double negative. I know. I apologize. I'm sorry. So, identifying and acknowledging your self limiting beliefs is the first step in taking back your own power. Blame can keep you stuck for years. Over time, erodes your self esteem. It can even cause you to go backwards. Okay. So, what they're saying is you can be your worst enemy. Some people might say your worst nightmare. Or you can be your own knight in shining armor. Okay. And you can have a happy ending. True sustainable success is achieved from the inside out. Mind, spirit. Remember? Inside out. By making the choice to work on your own belief system, it is vital you weed out any beliefs that are limiting to you in any way. This is the way to true empowerment and success, where you will open up your full potential. And over time, you will notice your life will become limitless. I remember one time there was a company, it was called, what was the No Limit Lifestyle? Okay. Just think for a second. Oh, we broke that 25-minute. I'm sorry. Wow. Boy, time goes by fast. But I pray in my heart that you got something out of it. I was trying to go between 20 and 25 minutes. I'm about 3 minutes over. So I'm going to try to end it before we hit 4. But I'm going to let you know what we're going to talk about on the next one. Okay. And that will probably be on Monday because I'm going to take Saturday and Easter off. Okay. So that next one we're going to talk about is your lack. We talked about lack of belief. We're going to talk about your lack of faith. Is that holding you back? Okay. Now I have a YouTube channel. They'll all be placed on there, right? Which is, of course, is just Jay Early. That's my YouTube channel. And by the way, there's two of us. I'm the one that was blessed with the brown skin. I got my permanent tan. I don't have to, pay nobody. Okay, so you can find me very easily. I know I'm joking, but you got the message. Hey, look, I'm going to end this one like I do every other one. If you do what I actually tell you, then you know that I will meet you at the top. And of course, if you don't, you'll be up there. I'm sorry, we'll be up there waving to you from the top. And always keep in mind that God loves you